Chris, and welcome back to the sea. What do we have on the show today? Today we got a box for Mr. Willie down in Mississippi. And inside is an A600. Inside is President Andrew Jackson. A note, and it did have a pack of gummy sour worms, but some fat guy ate them.
Get in my belly!
There's a note that says, "Hi Dr. Chris, I want to thank you so much for looking at my Amiga 600. The traces were damaged when I tried to remove the IDE header. A little history. I had some pins that broke and I managed to get the IDE working again, but my PCM CIA slot never really read a PC card. The data was corrupted as the vendor, SanDisk, and a data size as 435 gigs for an 8 gig compact flash card that works in my 1200. The board was recapped about 2 years ago. I recapped the board about 2 years ago and tried reflowing the 245s to get the PCM CIA going, but that messed up my IDE pin repair. So I was going to replace it, so here I am. I used the desoldering station and a Wick, but couldn't get all the solder off, I guess. I'm including an IDE header I ordered from Amiga Kit. The 600 works except for the hard drive. I hope you like worms. They remind me of what's left of my traces. Thank you, Mr. Willie." So first off, thank you for the 20. I'll use that for return shipping. Very well packed. Look at that, Euro guys. See? That's how you pack them. You don't wrap them in a newspaper and ship them across the world. All right, let's get the box out here. Silicone mat. So first off, we have an Amiga 600 Junebug Rev 2D. Oh my. Yeah, this might be a little bit of an issue. Something happened to every single via on the board. Holy crapola! That is a mofo, because most of the pins are on the top. Where does the pin header go? On the top. Bottom of the board, down to the fiberglass. Oop. Bottom of the board is down to the fiberglass. Okay. Holy crap. This might have some hairy legs. I'm going to see what I can do. This is an extreme case of header damage. Oh my god. There's literally nothing left.
That thing had 9 lives. She just spent them all.
Where are the vias? Like, there's nothing there. Did you just rip it out? How did the... Holy god. There's residual crap around the video decoder. The CXA 1145, that's this girl right here. There's some spider webs. Oh my god. So, as you can see, the white, that is where the vias are supposed to be. A little bit of metal here. Like, right there. 4, 1, 1, couple, and then nothing. Like, sucked out of the board. Either you have a better solder sucker than me, or I don't even know, man. So what we're going to do, oh my god, is first we're going to cry and we're going to cuss off camera. So we'll use Amiga PCB Explorer because they run a great site. Support them if you can. Alright, so we're going to choose the A600. They only have one 2A. This is a 2D, but close enough. This is the pre-production board. Continuity mode, and we're going to beep some pins. Now what I'm going to do, because this is going to be such an extreme pin out, I'm just going to go like this, and then we're going to print this. I printed it so I can do like a good, bad, or ugly. Mostly it's going to be ugly. So I'm getting that red marker out, and I'm going to get a green marker out. Why? Green is good, red is bad. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go check mark. I'm going to have very few green check marks. And then I have to repeat this process 44 times. Now I'm hoping that I can do something with shoving wires in the holes, and then I'm going to shove this pin header in there, touching the wires, bond them all with some liquid love, and hope and a prayer, and we'll see. make sure your cables are tangled up to the end of time. Why they put ground on the left? I don't know. Well, I guess for right-handed people. Broken. That's a long wire to have suck. Now this isn't the repair. This is the long, drawn-out 3-hour tracing of everything to find out what I have to do to potentially fix it. Helps me identify the pins, and the reason I print it out is sometimes I get tired of doing this, believe it or not, and get a little burned out, need to take a mental health break, recoup, come up with a new plan, think of some things, and when I come back, I don't forget where I left off. So if you're going to do pin header repair or circuit tracing, do yourself a favor and get a printout. You saw what I did. I just used the snipping tool, and that way you have a document of your work. Oh my God, this is going to be, this, while it looks simple, is going to be a mother F.
Emotional, damn it!
Fun. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm not going to bore you. I'll report back in a nanosecond for you, in several hours, maybe a day for me. And we'll see how bad we are. I'm about a quarter of the way through, and I got a lot of reds. There's a lot of damage on this girl so far. Green, red, 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 red. But in the note, it said he touched up the 245s to fix the PCMCIA. And I think I found why it's not working. Right here, at the base of the thing, I'm going to try and tilt this up. Third pin on this girl. I don't know if it's going to show because this camera loves to not focus. At the base of this, can I get in any closer? That's it. There's a blob of solder bonding these two pins together. And it's crusty as hell. You can see there's white ash all in her teeth. I want to scrub the balls off of this thing. There's also another bond right here in between those two pins. Right there. I might be able to scratch it free. Yeah, it's like residual solder and ghosting of spider webs or cotton swabs in there. So this was touched and some bonding happened in several of the pins. They're bridged close to the chip itself. I might even have to remove them all and clean them. Remember what I told you? When you look at these things, they all have their own story. Whether it's user error, owner, screw up, things happen. Please remember, when you're working on ancient vintage technology, if you think you know you can do it, but you've never done it before, don't do it.
Not a finger!
Grab some old PC cards. Something with a header. PC junk is everywhere. Do that. Pull them out, put them in, practice on old PC hardware. You can run to your local salvage store, Salvation Army, or whatever. We have them in the United States. Goodwill, they're called. Like those little stores where people drop off their crap and the old people rebuy it. A lot of clothes, but you can get junk electronics in there. It can be a stereo, it can be a radio. We all got something around our houses that's broken, and you're like, practice on that. Once you get expert in taking stuff off, putting it back on, and not damaging the crap out of it, then you're ready to play with your real girls. So remember, luckily the Amiga community is immense. And there's a lot of wonderful people that have recreated boards like Mr. John Hertel, the Godfather, who's as humble as I am and will never admit how awesome he is. You, sir, are a legend. The Asil, the Kavanaughs, Hesse, many others who have made recreation boards, chips, and other things to keep us going in our ancient hobby. So I'm going to continue on. There's the piece of metal that fell out between those pins. And I'll let you know if I find anything else interesting and exciting as I run across it. Okay, so it's 10 o'clock at night. I just finished the pin out, 44 pins, and here's the results. So, I don't know how well black and white's going to show up, but I wrote it. We have a 44 pin IDE header. 21 are good, 23 are bad. Top and bottom, so 46 plus points, because top and bottom, they have multiple destinations off of those rings. and the vias, that are gone. There's just nothing but a fiberglass tube and a hope and a prayer. The lines are ripped off from the where they would have went in the hole. Some of them are peeled back. Some of them work because half the ring is there, so one side of the signal will go to the top, but the bottom's been chewed up by something and gone. Also, C408, the 10-1000 cap for your composite video buffering is missing, and that's where I'm at. We have the IDE latches, transceivers, whatever, 245s in various states of bridged and repair. If you're effing with your PCMCIA, that's these guys at the bottom. These are your IDE along with the U21 here. That's a latch for your no, that's a octobus transceiver for the IDE. So U21 talks to these other three over here for some flipping flopping flip flops. And yeah, and it looks like buttholes. It's got cocaine dust, bridge pins. There's a black something coming out from U41. Ash and white mystery abound. The bottom is what scares me because it's just non-existent. I might have to microscope it because even with the helmet of Goober, dill pickles, the micro pins of a 44 IDE, even if I put the pin in, I have to individually pull wires through the top at least, right? So I have to put wires in the holes. Put this header in the where it's supposed to go. With the wires exposed, then I have to, before I solder that header in, solder all the wires to where they go with U21 or the 3 transceivers here. Then if that's successful and I don't break a wire or don't screw something up where I have to redo the wire, then I'll solder in this pin on the bottom. Then I have to redo the same connections, all the wire breaks on the bottom side to their destinations. That's the game plan. I'm not firing this board up. Where I'm told it works, I don't feel comfortable firing it up. There's copper lines of what's left. The bridged, these might be blown because they've been cocaine ashed and bridged on lines that are voltage. So they might not even work anymore, even if I get the repair of the lines done. I might have to end up putting these surface mounts on, which means I'm pulling the whole PCMCIA out because it's got the cocaine in there too. So the 68,000's got the cocaine. It's a drug dealer's Amiga 600. And that's where we're at. Right here looks pretty good though. And believe it or not, the ports aren't actually that rusty. You never used your printer port. There's a ferrite bead that powers your 12-volt line, and somebody bridged it to C307, a 16-volt 470 UF capacitor. There is an exploded resistor at R347. I'm going to just zoom you on in here. So right here in the blackness of her heart, we got an exploded resistor. That's a 272. It's been touched on with solder, and so that's blown or fried off. The connecting points are black. You ever seen something, you're like, it's not too bad, and then you start looking at it, and you're like, somebody better call an exorcist. I guess I'm the exorcism, I'm the priest? I don't know. I can see it was attempted to be cleaned up because there's cotton swab residue all over the place in the attempt to do this. The modulator was removed decently enough, and there's another bridged cheese and rice. R232 is bridged. It's got a solder blob across the 750 resistor. There's white crap on PCMCIA. Alright, I'm going to put this down because the more I stare at it, the more I find. And the more I find, the more I have to do. But if it was working, my task is to fix IDE. But can I leave it well enough alone not to fix everything else? I don't know. We'll see how far we get on the IDE repair. I'll see you in a second. Hello from the next day. Yeah, I'm wearing the same shirt. This chick's got a lot of whiskers. Those are what I said I was going to do. Pull the wires that I've marked that have bad top runs. All the reds. And they have multiple destinations, top and bottom. Now I'm going to attempt to put this pin header in. And I have to pull each of these wires just a little bit. So the sheath of the wire is not going through, but just the little tip of the wire. They're all like Thailand tucked on the bottom, or Taiwan tucked on the bottom. You'll see little whiskers. Well, maybe. Here you'll see some whiskers back and forth. I'm not worried about what it looks like. I'm just worried about, you know, this is the little part. It's just gonna take your day to the max. Alright, that's what it's going to look like. We're going to have wires hanging out that I have to loop around to the 245s. On the top side, I will have to use the mess that you're going to see right here. All this crap and wires hanging out. That's going to be to fix the traces on the bottom. That's why I cut them so long. And there's a shit ton of traces to fix on the bottom, which is great. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes and scrape what's left of some lines and hopefully be able to drag solder a bunch. I'll check back in a second. Ooh, okay, that was fun. It's 9:30 a.m. This is not my finest work, but considering what I'm working with, you can't polish a turd. We got most, if not all, the bottom points retouched. You're going to see a massive ball of turds right here. That's the triple ground. I couldn't get the middle one, so I have this one and this one on this big ground plane, so I put a little piece of wire across it and bonded all three together. They're all ground, so it's okay. The rest of them, the wires were poked through. I scraped the solder mask on the trace closest that I could, and there's one big booger I gotta fix somewhere where it's like not enough. I think it's this guy. There's not enough original trace left, so I'm going to use a little tiny piece of the scrap wire that I snipped off for length, and that's that. Now the top side, I literally haven't shaved her beard yet. Now most of this logic is going to run over here or right to U21. Some of these are going to get a Thailand tuck. It's not going to be pretty, but function over fashion at this point. If you want your IDE that bad without going the PyStorm route where you snap her right over the 68,000 and do some stuff, that would, you know, you wouldn't even need your IDE at that point. However, since most of your logic traces were busted, and they do run to other points, you would have some weirdness with this Amiga. Now, I don't even know if this thing works. I was told it works, but I'm not firing it up in such a poor state of crap. I'm going to blast it with contact cleaner a little more, just around these chips, because I've been doing that periodically to free up the crumb, and it seems to be helping a little bit. Here on U42, there's holes above the SMD pad that I'm going to use to poke these wires into, at least a lot of them on the bottom. Some of these guys at the top go over to U35 or U21. And then we should be ready for testing. It's currently 9:34 a.m. I worked on this till, what, 11 o'clock last night or something like that? And then, yeah. So I think the bottom turned out pretty good. Now, when I'm done this, we're not just firing it up. I gotta go back through AmigaPCB.org, Amiga PCB Explorer, and recheck all of the connections to make sure they have continuity to the right places. The benefit of AmigaPCB.org, if you don't know, and I'm sorry it's off to the side, is you can just quickly flip from top to bottom, so you're not all goofed out on like Sprint. You can't flip the board in Sprint that I know of. and you just gotta hope and a prayer you're on the right one, and I've reversed myself more times than a politician, but we're making progress. I have about 10 or 11 wires to go. Hopefully I don't break the wire or snip it too short, because then I'm pretty much borked. So yeah, I wanted to get the bottoms done to hold the pin header in proper, because if I'm pulling on it, I could pull it out. I should be okay. I'm going to take my extreme time with snipping and clean. That's why I got to keep these clean and tin them and flux them, and oh god, dang it, there's the phone. Burnt my finger 400 times break. I got 3 beards left. This is what we're looking at. It's not the prettiest pickle in the world, but when you blow all your traces out and I have nothing to solder to, I'm giving it the old Taiwan tuck, going around the header. You can put a cable on here, and then it's going to the TTL 74LS U41. So far, one of them wouldn't work. It's some weirdness. It like had half of it for some reason. I marked it as good, so I ran the wire to U21 back to the pin, and that backfed the IDE. I don't know, it was weird. It was like halfway there. So this worked, but that didn't. I thought it was good, so I didn't put a beard wire in, so I just ran it across. I mean, it's got enough spaghetti on here anyway. Remember, function over fashion. It's 3:24 p.m. and I finally got it done. I had to do some extra surgery on the bottom. Let's take a peek at the mess. This is a mess. I told you, function over fashion. This was so tore up. Remember the before. Here's a photo of before. And now we're looking at the fixed after. I went through and continuity beeped. You'll see a lot of drags because I had the drag solder, so I wouldn't have, you know, she wouldn't have a hairy hooch. So nice and smooth. A couple wires where the breaks were too long to do a drag. Most of them were fixed with scratching the mask and doing some deep drag solders. I'm going to mask this off. So R347 was also scrubbed out. That looks like it was a cap job here near the op amp and stuff. I did not do this cap job, and I'm not touching it. So that was just overheating when the caps were being put on, melted the resistor on the bottom. So here are the wires that I had to do here. I scratched and probed and pried the 374LS logic for the IDE control signals wired into the pins. I did it on the top because there's nowhere to do it on the bottom. A couple of them I could do, but they're here, so there's no holes. There were a total of 44 pins, of course. 21 were good-ish. I found that some of them were half good. 23 bad on the top, and then 46 on the bottom. Destinations. Remember, each hole might have 2 branches off of that via that doesn't exist. Sticking liquid lead into nothing and having it stick doesn't work. I did bust out the ultrafine. You can't even see it. This SOB is so fine. The ultrafine, does that even focus? Don't know. Ultrafine WepTools Precision 982.3. This little bad boy has saved my bacon more than you can believe. Wep 982.3, WepTools.com. There's links below. I got some affiliate links. I signed up for Amazon affiliates. So if you buy from the goofy little Amazon thing, I get like a nickel, and I appreciate it. Helps out the channel. So I finally got my rear and gear because I couldn't figure out how to do that. It was so simple. Anywho's, even better, if you use the affiliate link on the WepTools Amazon page, you can enter code CER10, put it right here, CER10, either on their website or on the Amazon store, and you save an additional 10%. So you can walk away with this thing for like $50, $60. That's an incredible thing. Get yourself some tips. These are C115 tips. They come in 115 or 210. I use the 115s because it's just the length, you know. Some ladies like a long one. Some ladies like a short one. So I have both. Anyway, thank you WepTools for making these and hooking a brother up with a 10% off code for my viewers. I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to get some more WepTools stuff soon because it's been a little while and I really like this stuff. These tools have really upped my game with professionalism. Anywho, let me get this pile of mess decombobulated, cleaned up, blown off, and we'll test it out. There we go. We're going to put this card, I like this thing too, in here. I don't know what's on this. I don't know. It's 314 or something. It's not Windows 3.1. Windows Workbench 3.1. Okay. So what we're looking for now is the hard drive light to do something. Low, high. Hard drive floppy blink. Hard drive is blinking. And the booting. Bada bada ching, bada bang, bada boom. You can see the blue light here too. Now, we're probably going to get an icon library error because whatever the heck is in this is not the right one. Boom. Yeah. It's not going to work because I'm 314 and that's not it. Let's see what's on this 4 gig card. I just got crap everywhere. I have nothing 3.1, so it's going to be all 3.1.4. And 3.1 won't pop up and say, hey, insert your disk for your library. I'm trying to find a mouse. Somewhere in here. Nope, that card doesn't work. Let me plug a mouse in. 3000, Amiga 3000 mouse. La 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 la. Energize, double mouse. Bink, bink. Alright, I'm double mouse buttoning. Boot options. DH0. So here we go. Gonna boot DH0. But as you can see, it works. I mean, my mouse ain't doing, my mouse works, but let's put a disk in. Today's interrupter is Mr. Jonathan from the United Kingdoms of Great Britain. I know you guys love it when I say that. I think it's funny too. He goes, did you give it a slap? Dodgy connections on the kickstart? Will you leave all those wires like that? I know you normally patch stuff up on the underside. Function over fashion at this point. Yeah, I'm going to do some hot snot, and I am going to mask off what I've worked on. But there we go. Check that out. Hard drives are hard driving. So we got, a little bit over 1 mega chip RAM because the belly slot. What's on my hard drive? I don't know what this is. I think it's Workbench 314. It is, because I have a Workbench preferences. Yeah, that's not going to work because it's 314. And I don't have a keyboard for an A600 just laying around or an empty case to stick this in. However, it works. The hard drive works now. The Amiga works. And 327 Amigas have been saved. With your help, if you would like to help me continue to keep doing this, please consider joining my Patreon. It's only like $1 a month. I spend more on lunch in one day.
I've lost 180 pounds.
And that's all I got for this one. So by the time this comes back out, Mr. Willie will have his Mississippi Queen back down there and be enjoying it immensely. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.
Remember these words, make Amiga great again. Please help Dr. Chris continue his fight for as little as $1 a month. Or more. Thank you and Godspeed.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?